You saw a cardiologist for the heart, a gastroenterologist for the digestion, a neurologist for the memory, maybe a therapist for the mood, and nobody, not one of them, said the one word that explains all of it. Perimenopause. This is not a video about getting older. This is a video about a hormonal shift that most women enter without anyone warning them what it actually looks like, because it rarely looks like what you expect. Perimenopause is not menopause. It is the transition. It can last anywhere from 2 to 12 years, and it has two stages. Early perimenopause, your cycle shifts by 7 days or more. Estrogen is not dropping yet. It is swinging up and down. Those swings are what cause most of the early symptoms. Late perimenopause, you start skipping periods entirely, gaps of 60 days or more. Estrogen is now falling steadily. Symptoms intensify. This stage ends when you have gone 12 full months without a period. That is menopause. Everything before that is perimenopause, and the orchestra is already losing its rhythms. Sign 1. Heavier periods. Most women expect lighter periods. The opposite happens first. When estrogen surges unpredictably, it builds the uterine lining thicker. Thicker lining means heavier bleeding. If your periods suddenly got worse, that is not a problem, that is a signal. Sign 2. Breast tenderness. Estrogen spikes stimulate breast tissue directly, swelling, sensitivity, deep aching. It feels like pre-period tenderness, but longer and at unexpected times. This is early perimenopause. Your estrogen is not low yet. It is high and erratic. Sign 3. Hot flashes and night sweats. Estrogen has a direct effect on hypothalamus, the part of your brain that controls body temperature. When estrogen fluctuates, the hypothalamus becomes oversensitive. It triggers a sudden release of heat. That is the hot flash. At night, the same mechanism wakes you, drenched in sweat, then shivering. This can start years before your last period. Sign 4. Joint pain and frozen shoulder. Estrogen has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect on joints. When it starts fluctuating, that protection disappears. Knees, hips, hands, wrists. Many women blame something they lifted a few days before, but in fact was the hormonal shift. Sign 5. Heart palpitations. Your heart has a built-in pacemaker with estrogen receptors. When estrogen fluctuates, the electrical system becomes unstable, racing heartbeat, fluttering. If your heart has been checked and everything looks normal, estrogen deficiency may be the explanation nobody gave you. Sign 6. Belly fat that appeared from nowhere. Estrogen controls where your body stores fat. When it drops, fat shifts to the belly. You did not change anything, your body did. This is the relocation, and it is not about willpower. And I have dedicated deep dive episode on this if you're interested. Sign 7. Insomnia. Progesterone has a natural calming effect on the brain. As it drops, that calming effect disappears. You may fall asleep fine, but wake repeatedly, wide awake at 3 a.m. for no clear reason. And on top of everything you have, poor sleep makes every other symptoms even worse. Sign 8. Dryness everywhere. Estrogen receptors exist throughout the body: skin, eyes, nose, ears, mouth. When estrogen falls, dryness shows up in unexpected places. Itchy ears that no specialist could explain. Sign 9. Mood changes. Estrogen affects serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the brain chemicals that regulate mood and calm. When estrogen becomes unstable, those symptoms become unstable too. Anxiety you have never had before, irritability, low mood for no clear reason. You are not losing your mind. Your orchestra is playing out of tune. Sign 10. Brain fog and memory problems. Estrogen supports blood flow to the brain, memory pathways, concentration, processing speed. When it fluctuates, you feel it cognitively. Thoughts vanishing mid-sentence, starting task, finishing none. You used to be sharp. Now you're working twice as hard just to keep it up. This is not early dementia. This is what happens when hormone your brain depended on for decades starts to disappear. A lot of women have had their FSH checked. It came back normal. Their doctor told them they are not in perimenopause. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, is made by the brain to tell the ovaries to work. As the ovaries age, FSH tends to rise. So a high FSH supports the diagnosis, but a normal SFH does not rule it out. During perimenopause, FSH bounces dramatically, high 1 week, normal 2 weeks later in the same body. Perimenopause is a clinical diagnosis based on your symptoms and your cycle history, not a single blood test on a single random day. I never had the chance to catch this early. I spent years seeing the wrong specialists, gastroenterologists, general practitioners, all telling me it was age, it was stress, it was mental. When they finally found that I had severe chronic endometriosis, my organs were fused together. My large intestine completely stuck to my uterus from right to left, and I already had 2 previous abdominal surgeries from a car accident many years ago. The surgery took several hours just to separate everything. They did the maximum and had to close. My perimenopause was a surgery. I'm telling you this not to frighten you, but because this video exists so that you recognize the signs before they become what mine became. I'm currently on progesterone at night and estrogen gel in the morning. I started HRT 18 months after my surgical menopause, later than I should have. I was exhausted by hormonal treatment that had already cost me 10 kilograms gained in 3 short months, which was not helpful anyway, because eventually we've decided to do the surgery. After surgical menopause, my hypothyroidism came back quickly. It was not easy, but I got there, and the difference is real. Here's what I want you to take from today. Everything on this channel was built on for this journey. The hormones, the belly fat, the skin, the thyroid, the food, the exercise, the inflammation, all of it connected, all of it explained. But the most important thing I can tell you is this: start early. I did not have that choice. By the time I understood what was happening to my body, the damage was already done. But I studied very seriously. I had to. I didn't have a choice. Menopause is something you can start mentally and physically preparing for in advance. It is not something you start 2 years after you are officially diagnosed. I know this because I was that person. Do not be that person. Follow this channel because everything here was designed to give you what I wish I had 10 years ago. One wire fix, more to rewire. Body rewired. This is not it. It's miswired, and we're fixing that together.